Accomplice, are you alright? I can hear you tossing and turning tirelessly in those sheets. Uh, uh, uh. One doesn't writhe around in the night unless they're afflicted by one thing or another. Oh, I don't mean physical, my dear accomplice. Afflictions can be anything. Ones of the mind, ones of the body. Those pertaining to something more... to the soul, to be precise. And I am most certain that my handiwork on your physical wounds has run its course. Your maladies of the flesh have been sutured and sedated. The pain numbed to nothing with time and impeccable attention to detail. So I can only deduce that it is one of the other two. So, which is it? Malice of the mind, or that of your soul? But before you answer, would you be so kind as to allow me onto your bed? Just to sit, my dear, nothing more. I have learned that most find the company of others to be soothing, and I do believe that you are in dire need of the aforementioned physic. Trouble? Oh, it is no such thing. A malice of mind is just as vicious as that of the body, and in many cases it is something far more treacherous to remedy, harder to see, more complicated to treat in the vast majority of cases. Remember well the words I spoke to you from down beneath the fortress of Cossovo, when I was still bound in contragicite chains, locked away from the world above, from my freedom. I told you that you wouldn't die, at least not until I had repaid you for your kindness, for my emancipation from an eternity of servitude to the warlords of that murderous, wretched island and the damp, dark cell it held me in. And after... Well, we'll worry about that later. For now, do I have your permission to sit next to you? I promise. My clothes are clean. You've grown rather cheeky during our time together. Maybe life as a runaway has given you something, perhaps unlocked something in you. No, not in the slightest. I quite enjoy your snark and that fire in you that burns just as bright as it did when we escaped Cossovo together. And thank you. Now, if you'd be so kind as to enlighten me, what is keeping you awake? You're avoiding the question, accomplice. But for the sake of your personal comfort, I will answer. For a very, very long time, I haven't required much sleep. I couldn't, at least. Yes, perhaps that's a better way to put it. I couldn't sleep, as my mind was and still is always swimming, teeming with thoughts, ideas, wishes, and dreams. Ones that now seem so much closer now that I've been freed from my bonds. All of that, thanks to you. What do I wish for? I wish to truly understand death, to know her intimately, and I have met her many times. And with each time they've granted me an audience, she's taught me something new. She's sated my hunger to know more of the world. For to understand death is not only to commiserate with the idea of finality, the end. No, It is to understand all. For life leads to sickness, sickness to decay, decay to death. As small as the fractured wing of a bird, or as large as the fallen gods of Eligor's helm, all is tied to death. Knowledge is what she gave me, and through my understanding of her and that which she reaps, I can become learned in the ways of preserving life, of remedying ailments thought to be indomitable. I can become something more. All these ponderings of mine are what keep me awake, but I welcome them, for I am unlike you. But let us stow away my terribly dull and tedious ruminations for the time being. What is it that's keeping you awake? The hour is late, and we have work to tend to come first light. I can't not worry. You are mine to take care of, and I won't have you drifting about the day in a half-stupor. It's not just for me and for our mission to remind you your payment, but because I have taken a strange but most generous liking to you. You're unlike any other mortal I've met, and I still owe you my everything. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and that isn't something that can be weighed lightly. I don't think that you can quite fathom the atrocities I suffered down there in the dungeons. Who could blame you? I most certainly do not. I wasn't a doctor for the soldiers of Cossovo willingly. It took them years to break me, to beat me into faux submission. It wasn't until I sat upon death's doorstep that I submitted. Even then, I hadn't completely given in. That desire, it doesn't matter. You mean the world to me. Through circumstance, I will live longer than you, longer than most, possibly indefinitely, unless ill fortune, possibly indefinitely, if ill fortune doesn't befall me. Many that live long lives reduce the meaning of gifts, even lives. The very being of existence are among those that they consider to be small. I am not such a terrible creature that your deeds, your gifts, and their worth go beyond me and fall to the wayside. You matter to me. So tell me, I implore you, tell me what ails you. Too many thoughts as well. Thoughts of what, if I might ask? Cossovo, and your near brush with death. So you fear her. You fear the absolute, that is death. This is a malady I'm far more than familiar with. Rest assured, I have things that may assist you with this fear. No, a very rational one. You're among the many that fear death. I too feared death once, before I accepted her and her tidings unto myself, her teachings. It doesn't mean that I will never die, no. All is meant to die. Look around you. Even now, gods, heroes, and those of even greater import, cosmic beings, they drop like flies, or fall like stars all around us. Death comes for us all, but it doesn't have to be something so frightening, not with the correct tools, materials, and knowledge. The alchemic absolutes of the universe dictate that nothing is free. To that end, I'm sure you're not surprised. Even I, a student and practitioner of the medical arts and of death, am not immune to the laws of the universe. Equivalent exchange is necessary in all interactions at the end. Humans, elves, dwarves, and all manner of creatures may swindle and haggle. Gods may intimidate and subject horrors unto those that do not bring them tribute. Bless them and offer them divine intervention if they are merciful and just. But if the exchange is not fair, if it is not equal, then it will end in ruin. Death is fair. Death is just. And it is beautiful. I do not wish to die, nor do I wish death unto others that haven't deserved their penance to the end. But I understand that sometimes things must be done. Does it really matter at the end of it all, accomplice? We all die. But that doesn't mean that we have to die screaming and in pain or terror, as so many these days seem so keen on doing. The wars that Grenfleur and Obelisk have wrought are proof enough of that. We can embrace death, learn from it before the end, and even if we do not wish to, we can take solace in knowing that more lies in wait for us at the edge of beyond. Though rest assured, I will not let you die. Not until you've been given what is owed to you. And even afterwards, I'm not sure if I'd have it in me to let you meet death preemptively. As I said before, I care for you. You've something that I haven't seen in a living person for a very long time. You have life, struggles and weaknesses, yes, but that goes for all things, all beings, gods or not. You have fight. You have that fire burning within you that will yield far more than you or anyone else, myself included, could expect. Would you like some tea? I assure you that this is indeed related to our current situation, yours in particular. You're learning me too well, accomplice. That's what I like about you. One of many things, at least. You're always so observant, watching the world around you and learning. Seeking to know more is something that I hold very dear to me. And it is a trait that you seem to naturally possess. Oh, it isn't such a rare thing, no. There are many with aspirations and a knack for perception. But you are different. You do more than seeking, which is only the first step. You pursue and hunt. You crave to better yourself even in the brambles and thorns that life lays across your path. Barefoot if you have to. That is something which I respect. Now, would you like some tea? I'll make a cup for myself as well. Perhaps a mug. And seeing as is paltry and has access to rudimentary service trays, I'll be using a larger portion for myself. And for you, if you should wish it. What I have in store for you does have magical properties, as many of the things that I create would entail. But this is something different. It is for comfort, and far more pedestrian than what you might assume. I will brew a tea with several ingredients. Some magical in nature, some not. But all should provide you some clarity and calm. whisper weed, shade bloom, night currant for sweetness. I know that you hate bitter things that aren't coffee or chocolate. Hibiscus, licorice roots, ginger, elderberry, valerian root, and, of course, some sugar if you'd like to sweeten it some more. Would you like some sugar? Oh, of course. Mock me not, accomplice. To brew tea is to work magic, and to brew a potion less referred to as such by the commoners, and you are no commoner. Even if you were, it wouldn't make a difference. To say you are a commoner is to say that you are one of the masses of sheep that walk this world. I think more highly of you than that, and not just due to your freeing me. Of course not. I don't believe that your run-of-the-mill commoner would have taken the chance to free me, to trust me, to have the compassion to do such a thing as risk themselves. They have so little, but so do you. And yet still, you took that risk, that chance. You are no commoner. At least not to me. I do not refer to the masses with my words, but to a class of people that do not understand or choose to be blind to right and wrong, to chain someone, to demand servitude of them at no risk, at no cost. It isn't just. And in freeing me, you've done a justice not only unto the world, but to yourself. Well, if you ponder it a moment, you now have a powerful accomplice of your own. Me, a student of both life and death. A follower of the great end that meets all, and a learner of many things. I am just as useful to you out of my chains as you are to me. How so? Your companionship. To know that there is still someone alive that cares about me as you do, that is more than enough for me. Perhaps more than I deserve. But more things and thoughts to add to the query. Fear not my magics, I'm not casting so terrible a spell. Just something to brew the pot faster. I am brewing for two, aren't I? I do not need rest, but to practice even the mundane is to perfect your craft. And that is what I have devoted myself to. The tea should be done soon. Is there anything else I can do to help alleviate your stress, your thoughts of death, and your fear of her? Well, I might not be able to provide you with that, but I can provide you some sort of physical comfort. Would you mind lying on your stomach for me? Yes, of course. Am I one that you know to jest when it comes to health? Good. Relax and breathe. While this tea steeps, I'll massage where I can. To feel comfortable mentally, sometimes one must be comfortable physically. It is a simple science, but a science that I have studied extensively nonetheless. Before I begin, are you all right with me putting my hands on you like this? I understand that many believe this to be intimate, and I don't want to overstep any boundaries. I suppose we've been through more intimate things than this, yes. I'd just like to ensure that all things are in order before I begin a procedure. Now please, relax. Close your eyes. Really, close your eyes. Let your eyelids fall. Let the tension in your face fall loose. Let your tongue relax, and if need be, let your mouth hang open as well. Feel the tension leaving the back of your hand, your neck, your shoulders. Relax your fingers, the back, the chest. Breathe easy at your own pace. Your hips, the tea is done. I know you may want me to continue this, and perhaps I will. Not a promise, but a perhaps. For now, get into a comfortable position. I'll make sure that you're tended to. Felt good, did it? Well, I'm glad that my bedside hospitality hasn't waned during my decades of incarceration. I already added some sugar, but would you like it to be sweeter? Of course, accomplice. Would you like for me to cool it down for you a little bit? That way you'll be able to enjoy it sooner. Fear not, I won't freeze the room over. This time. Some simple ice magic to lower the temperature of your cup. Mine as well. Gelo et frigosinte. There we are. Not so cold that it's lost its comforting warmth. Not so scalding hot that it assaults the senses and produces pain. You're the last that would deserve such a thing. Perhaps a figure of speech I let slip the tongue. Memories of an older time when I was far less formal. Either way, here is your tea. Perfectly hot, but cool enough to ingest. My apologies. Cool enough to enjoy would be a more appetizing way to put it. Please, enjoy. Relax. For we have many obstacles to overcome in the future. I didn't think that the Empress of Cossovo would hate us so fervently. Though, now that I think of it, I was their only healer. Proper healer, at least. We are far and few between in the Blackwaters, and my skills are highly sought after. In time, I believe that we will have more to fear than bounty hunters from that wretched island. But if they try to find us, let them come. They'll all meet unnecessary ends and feed my research, my art. They will feed death. You may mock me, but I truly do care for you beyond what my words may convey. Cheeky. My healing is but a service, a recompense for your saving me and, of course, in honor of our deal. Or at least, that's what I tell myself. I've grown rather fond of you, and imagining you dying at the hands of some lowly Blackwater goon is unsettling, and certainly unbecoming of one of your potential. The world seems as if it's up against you, and yet you still press on. Alas, before I wander my way into another tangent, how are you enjoying your tea? Well, sip, enjoy. These materials are hard to find, and many had to be taken from my personal wares. Rare things that they are in a poorly cultivated and unforested area as the Blackwaters. How did I get them? Through trade, of course. While I was a captive in Cossovo, I was still a necessary healer, as I've mentioned before. The Empress herself didn't know how to heal, only to destroy and conquer, as many mortals do. Ha! And that's not to mention her lackeys, even the ones who had been crowned with unearned titles such as doctor and surgeon. I showed them all what a true practitioner of the medical arts can accomplish. And in their lack of knowledge, I found opportunity. I traded for luxuries, my services under the guise of medicine. Some of these included material components I needed to aid in my own rest. What the Empress demanded of me was just far too much. While they were raging wars to secure Cossovo, I was inundated with endless droves of sick, wounded, and dead. Too much even for one of my skills to tend to. I needed things for myself. Sticks of incense to cleanse the scent of the dead from my cell, or at least to mute it ever so slightly. For ingredients with which to brew myself teas, to ease the tension and stresses of endless surgery after surgery, and the casting of spells to aid in healing those that were brought to me. Amidst the flurry of things I requested, I added things that were just for me. Things that would satiate my need to feel human again. Not just some tool to fuel the never-ending wars of the surface, to suture, feed, and repair the broken warlings drowning my cell in their putrid refuse. Amongst these things were precious ingredients. It's a miracle that I was able to get any, not on account of the Empress's need for my services, but for their reach and ability to procure that which I required. Some part of me believes that amidst the chaos, they knew that I was requesting things for myself. Why they let it slide, I'll never know. But I believe that it was due to the urgent needs she had, and the needs of her army that I wouldn't let die. Not until they'd served the Empress's purpose. Necromancy. Such a tarnished word, ruined by time and foul impressions. Stigma. But fear not. I took those that were already on death's door and used them to bring life back to those with a chance. Those to fight on. What other choice did I have? If her enemies found me and learned of my powers, they too would have used me. And being an occupying force, I'd never be able to find my freedom, even if with you at my side. But now, once again, I find that you're prying aside my iron walls and chained secrets. Something you're proving to be far too proficient at. Drink your tea and rest. I'll massage the rest of you and we'll see if we can get you some much needed sleep. For tomorrow, we commandeer a vessel and sail north. Yes, to your treasure, to that which you are owed. Weapons and wealth that are befitting of what you have given unto me. For freedom is priceless, as are you. What do I mean by that? Don't think on it too hard. Rest. Let the doctor work, and you shall find yourself tranquil, contented. We will discuss all you should wish when I've finished sorting your maladies.